you for joining us. This is Councilman in the car. We're not in the car today, which you can tell. We're actually in an office because we're doing it in this setting. I did get the car clean just in case we were going to have the car, so I was ready for that. You know, I have 4 kids, so you
Oh
know
yeah.
what that's like. So, listen, the questions are not got you questions. Want to go over this a little bit. It's just giving a residents a fair chance to learn who you are, why you're running for the board, what you see for our schools and our kids and our community. We're going to give each candidate 20 minutes to try to run through these questions. Like I said, every question's going to be a little bit different depending on your answer. We might go into like a follow-up question. So if there's any questions you have along the way or something you want to bring up, feel free to do that. Uh, Again, starting off with, please tell me who you are and why you're running for school board.
Okay, so my name is Brandi Williams. I have been a resident here for about 8 years. I graduated from Deffert. I'm running for school board because while I was on the PTO at Grenlock, my child, who was at Herfield at the time, or he's still at Herfield, he's in 5th grade right now, he used to always say, why can't school be as fun as Santino? And that's when my son was in preschool because we were always doing activities. It's very hands-on. So he used to say, why can't school be fun? And started making me think is why can't school be fun? So that was my initial drive. And then I started really paying attention to everything and I started going to the meetings. And then I just felt like, oh, like I'm a big believer in accept or change.
Yeah.
And I don't want to accept what's going on. So I want to try to help change it. So if I accept it, then I have to accept it and deal with it. And I don't want to do that. So as I got more involved, I just started caring so much more.
No, love that. Now, you talked about your children. How many kids do you have?
I have 2 children. I have a 6-year-old, 1st grade, and I have a 10-year-old, 5th grade, which I'm very nervous about middle school. I hear that things change, and he's already starting to give me a run for my money, so I'm very nervous.
I've lived that already, so I can tell you for a fact that is true, but the best times are still ahead. So, Brandy, thinking about some of the stuff we just talked about and what you see and what you were saying is, what what are the things that you see happening at the school board meetings? What made you want to get involved? I heard you touch a little bit, but give me, what do you think is going wrong there, and what do you think you can personally do to help fix that?
So when I started going to the meetings, I left, and I still do. I leave feeling hopeless. I feel like defeated. Like we don't know what's going on. It doesn't seem productive. We've spent this whole year, nothing's been about the kids. We haven't done anything. All I heard is we're not having middle school sports, and the reason our clubs came back is because our community came together. Um, it's just been disgraceful, and it's sad. It really is sad because when growing up in Deffert, and I know this isn't going to be a fan favorite me saying this, but I feel like I can because I'm from Deffert. You know, I grew up in Deffert, and you looked at Washington Township as like the rich town. Like, you know, everything was so much nicer over here. And when I moved here, I was excited for that for my kids. Like, oh, okay, like they're going to have the opportunities that maybe we didn't at the time. And it's not like that now. And now I see Defford and they're thriving and they're doing so well. And it's like, wow, what's happening here? So I just feel really sad. I feel sad. So what I can do to help is I really feel like I could bring transparency. I would like to have such an open dialect. Like when I go and I sit at these meetings and you look at the agenda, I'm lost sometimes. Like they're talking about things, but you have to go online and actually pull up the attachments to see what they're talking about. So I'd like to make that a little more simpler. The website is confusing. I'd like to make that more user friendly. Not everybody, not myself, but there's people that don't use technology like that. So it's hard to find things. It just seems like there's a lot of boundaries when it comes to parents trying to find stuff or know what's going on. I tell people when they ask, like, oh, I don't even know what's going on with the school board. I'm like, it's like a soap opera. Like you have to like really pay attention, go back and look at things and really talk to people because there's so much you don't even know that's going on behind the scenes.
You know, you
So,
touched on a point that really hurts me because I hear that from so many people. And the reason we did this, Brandy, was because so many people said it to me, who are you voting for? And I didn't want to make recommendations. I wanted people to hear it directly, but I hear that from so many people. And that kind of goes to the next question with our schools make up 55% of our property taxes. Last year, there is a 2% cap. It went up by 7%. And that resulted in some of the highest property tax for our residents they've ever seen. So what do you say to those taxpayers who are frustrated by that decision?
I'm frustrated. I'm a taxpayer. We have what 70,000 something residents, uh, between 8,000 to probably 15, 20K in taxes.
Yeah.
Where's the money?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm frustrated. I feel the same way. I know it wasn't. I think I might have been the only one during the live meet the candidates where they said, "Oh, to look at line items," and I said, "Yes, I would." I know that that wasn't like, oh, it's not your job technically, but yeah, I need to understand the budget. I have
Sure.
to ask questions. I need to know what I'm voting on. I'm not just going to blindly say yes because somebody told me to say yes. No, I want to understand. And right now, I don't understand the budget. And I know many people don't. You look at
No.
the PowerPoint that they show and they're zipping through it. Well, not everybody speaks that language. So simplify it for me. Let's go to line items because then next year or the year after, if I'm elected, I don't have to then go and sit and look at it again because now I understand it and we can look for, there has to be something we can do. It can't just always be cut jobs and cut students, sports or activities. That just can't be the answer every single year.
Yeah,
So,
and it looks like it hasn't been the answer, right? I mean, that's what they've
right.
been talking about, and it looks like that's not working. So, moving past some of that and getting some of that. First of all, I think you're absolutely right about the line item, and I did hear you say that, and I actually think so. Like when we get our bill list, I do go through it line by line. In our last bill list, I found a couple of things. Now, a couple of things were just a couple $100, but it does add up. Right,
Yeah.
and all it does is show is that again, it's not that some vendor is being dishonest or it could be a mistake from another department. You're just finding something and saying, hey, listen, don't know if you noticed this, but this
Right.
is right or this is wrong. So no, I don't think you're wrong about that. I actually heard you say that. I thought that was a great idea. It is very important, and there's some things I don't know. I'll circle something, I'll highlight and say, hey, what's this here? Because
Mm-hmm.
you are going to be voting on that.
Yeah.
Right. And again, you're not going to remember every single line item that was there, but you might have highlighted and said, hey, that's a great question. I had a question about this expense here.
Yeah.
And somebody says, oh, wait a minute, that wasn't supposed to be there. So it does happen. It's happened on our side. I'm sure it happens on the school board side. So I guess kind of leads to my next question is many
But
residents.
I just wanted to
Sure.
like reiterate or I
No,
guess say something.
please.
I also feel though by going through the line items and understanding what's being billed, maybe we could look for different vendors. Maybe there's somebody else cheaper. Maybe we've been using the same company for so many years out of loyalty. I don't know. I'm not saying
No.
we are. I'm just saying it doesn't hurt to look. But also for us knowing that, then we can give that reinsurance to the community saying, listen, we looked at this. This is what it is. And I feel like we don't have that now. When you're going to these meetings, it's like, oh, I don't know. We'll get the answer. And then we never hear from it again. So I'd like to be able to be on point of things and saying, yes, this is where it is. We break it down. So that's just what I want
No,
to add.
listen, you're absolutely right, and a lot of that does come from people don't always like change, or it's like, well, we've always been using that vendor. Doesn't mean they're a bad vendor. Doesn't mean they're not the right vendor, but we can always look, right? Maybe we're not getting the best pricing. Maybe they're offering a new package now that we can look into, right? So maybe it's
Right.
something that we haven't done. So no, I totally agree with you. And kind of the next thing I guess is behavior on the board and public image. Listen, a lot of residents said the school board meetings have become a circus, with members attacking each other and losing focus on the issues. What do you do to restore that professionalism, that respect, and that sense of normalcy to the board?
Well, we don't all like our coworkers. We don't all like our bosses, but we have to show them respect, right? You can't
Right.
just go, you're working at a building, you know, let's just say Jefferson or something. You don't like your VP. You can't go in there and start being disrespectful to him because then you're going to go. So you got to show respect. And I do want to address this why, because I know some people are like, oh, well, you made that video. Well, I did make the video as a parent and I was seeing everything. I was frustrated. So I did take like a jab at the whole board of all the chaos that was going on because it was like a soap opera. But I did also take the feedback of there were a lot of people that liked it, but there was a lot of people that didn't. So I haven't made another video. So I want to, maybe it wasn't in good taste to everyone, but you haven't seen me make another one and I haven't done anything because I took that feedback. And I think that's important is, everybody makes mistakes and I'm not saying the video was a mistake. I'm just saying I did something and not everyone liked it. So I didn't learn from it. That's all. And I think the board needs to do that. You're not always going to please everybody. There's so many people. Not everyone's going to be happy, but you learn and you own up to things and you act professional.
Well, listen, you touched on a good point there, and that's where I knew some of these conversations were going to go off on some of these things. So you make this video, but you're speaking your mind. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I know that you probably know that I put out 2 letters on my own letterhead, and I always tell people, number one, that is coming directly from me. It's from my desk. It says it's from my desk. It's not the voice of the council or the voice of the people.
Right.
If it's the voice of the people, I'll let it know, hey, on behalf of Washington Township residents, on behalf of the council, or on behalf of myself and the mayor and the council. So it's okay to speak out as a frustrated parent. Listen, many of times people come to me and say that, like, what is going on with the school board? So I think you making a video and saying, and then taking that criticism. Listen, I know when I do the same thing, I get people on both sides. And you look at it and you say to yourself, I can see where they're coming from. I can see when somebody says, hey, listen, this made me feel this way. I always welcome that feedback, right? We can have a great dialogue. And that's the most important thing is that, and hopefully, if there's new members or whatever happens here on the school board, no matter what, if it's not, that we do return to some normalcy. Because I don't think so. Do you agree that it's become a circus? Do you agree that it has become this sideshow that people watch for entertainment? It is not something that I want. I always say this. Our school board is our most important board. There's no mayor, there's no council, there is nothing more important than that board, right? That is the future of our town, our county, our state, our nation, our world. That is entrepreneurs, it's parents, first responders, nurses, doctors. All of those students are the future of this nation. Right?
Yeah.
And inside there could be, one of them could discover the cure for cancer. Some are going to go on to do amazing things. Some are going to go into the trades and be able to do things that some of us never thought possible, right? So
Some may be the next mayor.
some may be the next mayor and councilman, right? So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And again, so even the people who set this podcast up are proud Washington Township students, and I always I always let people know that. But they put this together, so I want to get back on, because I'll go off on these tangents.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the union influence. There's been growing concern about the influence of the unions on the board decisions. What's your view on that relationship? How can you ensure the board's decisions are made fairly, putting students and taxpayers first?
All right. So I'm not anti-union. I'm not pro-union. I'm right in between. I wholeheartedly support teachers, support staff, administration. You can ask anyone that's encountered me with my kids. I am always asking the teachers, what do you need? I'll harass them for their Amazon list. I love our teachers. They're so important. I say it's a job I could never do because, you have 20-something kids, all different personalities, and then you got to deal with their parents too. So it's a lot. I totally respect them. I don't like what I'm seeing with the union right now. I don't like it. I think it's become so toxic. I don't understand why the union and the board can't work together. Why can't we have the best interest for the students? If we lead with that, then why isn't there common ground? It upsets me to see when we get up and it's like, well, we want this, we want that. Like, I feel like we need to, right now we're not in a position, like if we could pay you everything, I would love to. If I had millions and billions of dollars, I would give it to the teachers.
Yeah.
But we're not in a place like that. And
Right.
I hate hearing this, oh, well, we want this ridiculous contract. Oh, we want the unprecedented contract. I don't understand is right now we're not in a position for that. So if we give you, or the board gives you this contract that you're fighting for, I don't know, let's say you want a 5%, 7% raise. What's going to happen next year when we can't pay it?
Right.
We have to lay teachers off.
Right.
Nobody wants that. Why can't we just say, let's just take the 3% right now and let's see where we're at in a year, or let's table this or something. Why can't there just be a civil conversation and the best for the community, the school, the teachers? If you really care about them, why are we pushing for this contract that may lead to layoffs?
Yeah, listen,
we're not in a position right now.
No, listen, a great point, and that's the thing. We all agree that our teachers are phenomenal. I've had the honor and pleasure of meeting so many of them. I visited basically, I think, all the schools that we have in our town, and I've gotten to meet support staff and everybody. But it all comes down to dollars and cents, right? It's what is really available, what we really have to work with, and it's unfortunately, like you said, the town's in the same position. We were just, before we got on this call, I was on a call with the mayor. We found out that our utilities bills have gone up 70% over the last 5 years. 70%. There's no, our idea that we can sustain ourselves over the long run, the same as the school board, it's just not possible. It is not possible. So to get back to another question about that and kind of go back to the idea of politics in the school board. Listen, school board elections are supposed to be non-political, but Lady doesn't feel that way on both sides. Let me make that on both sides. What are your thoughts on politics becoming part of the school board decisions? And where are you on that? Do you think that your personal feelings, we don't have to discuss those, but will they affect your decision on making decision for the school board?
No. When I decided to run, I know that this is not about me.
Right.
This isn't about my beliefs. This isn't about what I think is best. I am up there to represent the community and the students. So as a whole, what is best for the students should always start out that way. It's not about, Democrat, Republican. It's not, no. It needs to be away from that, even though it's not like that right now. And I understand that I'd be a fool to say that would just disappear because I'm on the board. That's not true. Right. But I'm not a mouthpiece, as many people may refer to some of the candidates. They're just a mouthpiece. No. And anybody that knows me, my mom was helping me build a fence out here or fix my fence. And I was talking about I said something about holding me back. And she said, Brandi, no one's holding me back. And I was, what do you mean by that? She said, you're going to do what you want to do. So don't worry about me just not speaking my mind or just voting the vote. That if I feel like something's wrong, I'm not going to just say, okay, well, because I was told to do this, I'm doing that. That's not the way I work.
I like that. So, Brandi, we're down to almost 4 minutes. So I want to kind of get through a couple other things. One of the major questions I have for you, let's talk about leadership. What are your thoughts on merit pay for the superintendent? And what do you believe, is he still the right person to lead this district? Why or why not?
The merit pay, if that's what was in his contract, then, it's shame on the board then for not coming up with better goals and stuff then. And I know that people, then that makes me be so pro-Hibs. I'm not pro-Hibs. I'm not anti-Hibs. I don't know Hibs from just other than the meetings.
Right.
No, if it was the union and we weren't paying the teachers their contractual agreement, they'd be fighting it. Right. If the CEO at the Jefferson weren't getting paid they would be fighting it. It's a contract. So we just honor it and move on. And then we just create, I don't know if these merit goals are for this whole contract or if this is a yearly thing that he has to do. So say it's yearly. A resident asked at one of the meet and greets is how do you ensure for new people coming on the board that how would they vote on his goals if he met them? And I said, well, why don't we do before the old members leave, they vote on what he's already done. And then the new members, if he hasn't reached those goals, then would vote on the remaining part just to assure that, everyone's has a say and people aren't just voting to vote. If we did get a new superintendent, then we need to do better goals for them. It shouldn't just be about, beautifying the neighborhood. I love to make things prettier, but we should have real goals that we can really see. And if he's right for the job, I don't know. Did he even do anything of his job? He wasn't even around this whole year. So, I don't know.
That's a very fair point. It's a very fair point. So now it looks we're almost under a minute. Early voting's already started in New Jersey. Election day is Tuesday. Tell people why they should vote for Brandi Williams for school board.
Because I care. And I said it before. Don't blame my brain, blame my head, not my heart. I'm not a politician. I stumble over my words sometimes. I'm thinking so many things and I just want to hurry up and tell you how I feel. If you get me started on the school board, I literally will have my hands a claw and I'm just constantly talking to you because I get so passionate about it.
Yeah.
People are trying to get away from me. So you should vote for me because I really care. I want what's best and I'm scared for the future. I'm scared that if we continue the way it is, what's going to happen? Where's our district? I just found out we're a tier 1 district. It helps out funding, but don't we want to do better for everything? Don't we want to make our school a place where people want to move here? I hear people saying they don't want their kids coming to our school right now. I literally, uh, back to school night, first grade, I was sitting in the classroom, and across from me, there was a mom, very nice, and we were all talking. And she said, I don't even know if I want my kid coming here. And in the middle, she got up and walked out. So I'm going to assume that I think she made her decision. So that makes me feel sad. Like, we want to make our place like, oh, I want to go live in Washington Township because they have a great school system. Not, oh, I want to send my kids somewhere else because no, this is not working for me. So I would like to be the change. I would hope if I get elected that a year from now, we can see a huge difference. And I'd want to make people proud. I care what people think, and I would want to make them proud. So please vote.
Listen, and closing, I appreciate your time today. Appreciate you doing it. I think it says a lot about you and every candidate that stepped up to do this.
Yeah.
Sorry we couldn't get through all the questions. We wanted to make it fair for everybody. I don't know if everybody will watch the whole 20 minutes, but I think it gives us an idea of who you are and what you stand for. Just wanted to say a couple things that touch upon a couple of things. This may or may not make the interview, but it's sad that you have heard that, and I've heard the same thing. Because I know my wife, when we were thinking about maybe moving out of town or moving, school district is so important. It's the number one thing, right?
Yeah.
So when you look on Zillow and you look at what those schools are ranked, to think that we're not having the best of the best, or we're not the best of the best, is really sad to me as first as a father, but second as a councilman. Because I want people to move to our town, and I want people to have a business in our town. And I want people to thrive in our town. Our schools are how we do that. Like you said, they are the future mayor. They are the future council. They are the future of everything. So make sure that we're giving them the best of the best. And I'm not blaming that on anyone. We all need to do better. We all need to step up. And thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate you. If there's anything else that you want to add real quick, please feel free to
Yeah,
do it.
I'm actually going to throw the question out to you.
Sure.
What do you see if things continue the way they are, and say nobody new gets elected? I mean, obviously one person will, because there's going to be one open seat. What do you perceive happening?
So listen, it's a great question, and there's a form online, and it's about 90 people, and they go back and forth on this stuff, and I try not to engage too much. I do read some of the comments and some of the things, and I try not to let all that outside influence make decisions for me. Like I said, I did put out 2 statements that I felt very passionate about. So I understood when you said you made the video. If things don't change, first of all, they have to change from a financial end, because we can't afford it, right? We just can't. And to go back to the state again and get another tax increase, we're not only crushing our town, we're crushing our businesses. We're crushing the people that we're telling people, hey, listen, take that dream, cash in your 401k. I make a lot of videos on that. Open up a business here in Washington Township. We're going to be your partner. We're going to help you. We're going to help market you, let people know you're in town. Oh, by the way, people's taxes are going up so much they have to move out of town.
Yeah.
They can't even live here anymore. They don't have that disposable income to spend in your business, right? And that's where there's not a balance. So if we don't change, if we don't get our act together, I hate the idea that people, first thing they want to talk about with me is the school board, and not in a positive way. And then they watch it as entertainment. I don't like that idea that we're as a town. I know people laugh about that idea of premier community. We are a premier community. And it's not because we put it on a water tower at one point, or we said we were. We are because of the people who live in our community. We have people like you that are willing to step up. We have people like the other candidates that are willing to step up. Do we need a change? That's going to be for the voters. What I'm seeing personally, I don't like. I don't like the idea that people are at a school board meeting for 4, 5, 6 hours. I have trouble getting a council person to be the liaison to the school board, because no one has 7 or 8 hours of their life to give up to watch adults fight.
Yeah.
Right? I wake up every day and teach my children not to be like that. That's my goal as a parent, to not have my children act like that. So to go back, and I'm a long-winded guy, but to go back, no, I think if there's no change, then things don't change. Things don't get better. There has to be a financial change. Because you literally cannot run, and you can see other districts that this is happening. What is going on? There needs to be a change in the formula. There needs to be change in our mindset, and then we need to change as people. We need to realize that our focus has to be the children. It has to be them. That they are the most important things. I always tell people my most important accomplishment are my 4 children. That is the thing that I want to be most recognized for. No law, nothing else I'll ever do will be more important than them. That is my most, and I think Meg would agree with me. We both have talked about this at length about what we see happening. And I spend some time at the board. My heart hurts when I leave. I'm sure maybe you feel the same way. I leave there feeling very deflated, very unsure about what is happening. I don't understand some of the things that they're discussing or what's again, I would love some more clarification. I love that you want to kind of let people know what's going on. And you may or may not remember this. I don't know how long you've been in Washington Township, but years ago, our council meetings were the same way. And this is going back some time, but they were literally, it was like a bloodbath. It was like a blood sport to go to a council meeting, and you had people yelling at each other, and you had this back and forth. We stopped that circus. Yeah. We're not going to have that. You're going to come and you can express how you feel. You are welcome to take the mic. We're going to respond to you. You may or may not like that response. We might say, hey, listen, Brandi, that's a great question. Don't know the answer right now, but we'll get you the answer.
And I think that's important is that if you're going to do that, then you actually get the answer. And then you give the answer to everyone.
Yes. So,
yeah.
People are going to reach out to you, Brandi. Listen, no. First, people, if you win this race, people are going to reach out to you and they're going to say, hey, Brandi, I have a question about this. There's a woman asked me today about the gas company. That doesn't come from us. That comes from an office higher up. But my job is to give her that information, to let her know how to get it, give her the phone number, who to speak to. Mm-hmm. And then follow up in a couple of days.
Yeah.
So I again appreciate you running. I think it takes a lot to put your name on a ballot. I know that there's a lot of negativity that goes online. If you're able to win this, understand that that's just background noise. You know who you are. You know what you stand for. Continue to do what you're doing. There's not a lot of people. Those people are able to speak that way, but they didn't put their name on a ballot. They didn't step up and take that opportunity to do that because that would be their voice, right? Not behind and I always tell my wife, we laugh, if I get 10 comments and 8 are good, I give myself an 80% approval rating. So, and sometimes I read the comments and I laugh. I mean, sometimes they do sound like me when people make funny comments, and some of them are just outrageous. But know that that's just background noise. Stay true.
And sometimes people just want to complain just to complain.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Happy. I remember there was one about a guy had a whole thing about all these different things, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, but we don't have it was like a Motel 6 in our town. It was like a whole bunch of things. Like, how about the Motel 6 they put up? I'm like, I must have missed that opening because we don't have Motel 6 here in town. So I'm not sure what town you're talking about. And then they were actually, I think they were talking about like the Sewell version of Mantua. There was something that it wasn't us, but like you'll hear some of that sometimes, and they're like, I don't think they're talking about our town. Like I don't know if they have the right. And then sometimes you'll realize those comments come from people who don't even live in our town. Which is even worse sometimes. You'll see somebody, say that they don't even live in the town. I'm like, hey, at least live here. If you want to be negative, that's your right? That's your freedom of speech, but at least live in our town at least. So Thank you, Brandi. Thank you so much for your time today. If there's any questions, please just let me know.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for doing this. This is great. And I've been nervous. I haven't been doing any videos or anything because I will say it's hard with some of the nasty comments. So it's like, oh, I don't want to open myself up to doing a video just so people could be mean. But I understand you have to have thick skin. So thank you for doing this.
Brandi, do that. Continue to make your videos. Continue to know that nobody has that power over you, that a lot of times those are anonymous people that post, and they would never say it to your face. I can't tell you how many people have never been able to approach me. And if you do, I'm not going to be nasty. I just don't. I don't fight hate with hate. I fight hate with hope. So let's have that conversation. If there's something that I said that you don't like, I've made some posts that I've gotten some real pushback on. I'm not a big guy to delete posts. I put it out there. It's how I felt, or I was recognizing a certain something or that may not be important to you. You're not going to like every post I put out there. That's okay. That's okay. But know that your videos do have, and people who are saying things about you wouldn't probably have the courage to say it to your face. Yeah. They wouldn't say that to you because you had the courage to at least put that out there. You're obviously standing up for your children. You clearly care, and that's why you make those videos. It comes a lot of times out of frustration. I make sure that when I put something out there, I have thought about it in full, and I know that once I hit that send button, I have to live with that. I think it was, I want to say, it may have been Miley Cyrus or somebody says you post and ghost it. It was one of the celebrities that you post it and ghost it, and then understand though that you never have to say could have, would have, should have. You did it. Yeah. You put it out there, and I try again. You'll notice I don't know if you ever saw my social media, but I don't try to be nasty. I am not trying to hurt anybody. I want to give people good information. You may not like it, or you may not agree with it, and I try to be so people understand, hey, this is something that, like, again, great thing about our school, and there's a lot of great things that's happening. I went to one of our food banks at the high school. It was teachers, it was coaches.
Yeah.
I came and saw the kids at the soccer field. You see
We have
parents, you friends, right?
we have the best teachers and the support staff and administration. We really do. Like my son's teachers came to that soccer game, and she even, oh, give me your kids' schedules. Like I want to come see them. I just love that. We just have such wonderful people with our children, and it makes me want to do so much for them as well. Like I just want our school. I don't know. I always tell people, oh, if you've ever been to Grenlock, like they are the happiest people over there. You have
Great school.
60 something women that work together, and they're not fighting. They're not catty. They all love it there. I'm like, I want that for all of our schools. I want that so bad. Like, because it's such a great feeling when you walk into Grenlock, everyone's happy. You feel wonderful that your kid gets to go there. So I want that for all of our schools. And I'm so happy that we have our new principal at her field, because she brings the same energy.
Yeah, she is high energy and is doing a great job. The students love her. She does a great job with social media. That's how we keep up with people nowadays. And I love what she's doing over there. Officer Jeff, another one, right? Our resource officers is so important. And that's something that, it was one of the questions that I wanted to talk about, but we never got into how important that is today. And I think that relationship between that, but again, that's probably for another episode. But
I know I keep on, I'm holding you up. I'm sorry.
No, you're not. But
I said, I have the claw. You're not allowed.
No, listen, I think that's what makes our premier community. That is why we're premier, because people like you are willing to step up. You're willing to talk about being passionate. When I stopped by that soccer game, I said to Brian, I'm like, his children weren't even playing. He's like, no, I'm just here showing. That's a lot. That shows a lot that all these people showed up because they care. They really care. And that's what makes our community so great. So I think if we can get our school board where it needs to be, we will definitely be that premier community that we know that we are.
Yeah. A fun fact though is we always say for my son's soccer is like we roll deep. Like we go to other towns and we have like, over 30 something people watching our kids.
It was the largest crowd I ever saw at a soccer game. Like, wow. I mean, like it was really, it was awesome to see. And we were so thankful to be invited. And that's the other part of this is that we appreciate when parents reach out to us. We will try to make every single event. It is not just fundraisers for us or it's every event we can make it to. And that's the great thing about our mayor and council is that it's important to us. We really enjoy each other as people, so that always helps. And we really, if we disagree, we'll have those conversations. We'll make sure, and the school board can be the same way. We want to open up that line of communication with the school board. We've said that multiple times. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten that same line of communication. I
hope we can do that though. If I'm elected, I hope that we can build a bridge. I think it's really important that, the mayor's office, the councilman, the police, everybody can just join and work together. I mean, I think that it's great to collaborate with everyone. Like, you have a lot of smart people that know what they're doing. Throw some ideas out there until something sticks. Like, just get a bunch of brilliant people, not even like anybody has a thought, just put it out there and let's see what we could work on, what we could build. I think a collaboration is wonderful, and I just would think that would be great. I mean, we talked a little bit saying how the local businesses, how they could help the schools. We could just come together and just make our place even better and just bring it back to its best.
Listen, great point, because we are partners in this. We are partners in the fact that when a Monster Golf opens up, we want the schools to know that. We want people to bring their children there and have a good time. And then by that, the owner, Bob, wants to donate back to the schools by helping the clubs or donating money to the sports. By doing those things, it's a partnership between the businesses and ourselves, and trying to get that to be kind of a marriage for everybody where we all work together. We all represent the same people. Listen, I've been fortunate enough to meet so many amazing people on this journey, and each one along the way has been able to help someone else, right? So each one has shown me, and then you make that connection, and that person says, oh, I know somebody there that can help you. I know somebody. Hey, this is a great place. We have Sweet Talk Cafe. One of the greatest things that I get to do is we get to do Read Across America, and we read at Grenlock and some of the other schools, and we have a great time. Hearing their answers, the places they love, Fun City, Chick-fil-A is a big one that we hear all the time. Sweet Talk Cafe. These are places that our kids love to go.
Yeah.
Right? And here.
1 year when I was on the homeschool council for Grenlock, we reached out to the library, and the library came and dressed up as what is it? The
Cat in the Hat.
Cat in a Hat. They
Yeah.
came and we took pictures and the kids loved
They're
it.
awesome.
Like, see, you just
Awesome.
ask.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to ask. If they can't do it, they can't do it. But for the most part, our community always shows up. So, and I love that.
Love that. Listen, we have a great library. We have a great staff over there that put on a lot of great events. And that's the other thing I think that people don't really realize. I didn't realize myself, right? So they have a lot of, they just had a World War, a veteran the other day. He's 104, 102.
Yeah, I heard.
About, I got to see him before. It was amazing. They just had somebody the week prior about shipwrecks. A lot of great information. I know Meg loves to take the kids there. She really enjoys the library. They had a foam party this past summer.
Wow.
So, yeah, they really do a lot of great things there. So we can bring our town back together. We could start by, number one, understanding the problems, not running away from them, addressing them together. We're not always going to agree, but we agree that we all have a common goal, and that's to make Washington Township.
I think, though, one thing we've gotten really past is that it's okay to disagree.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's gotten so far that people just badger you because you're not agreeing with them. It's okay that, you don't think this way or you think that way. Just come to a common ground. If you can't get what you want, you get what you can.
Yeah.
So, but we've gotten so far that people can't take criticism. They take that as an attack.
Yeah.
And you can't disagree. If I don't like something and I say something, then, oh, you're this, you're that, you're against us. Like, it shouldn't be that way.
And it's not that way. It's not. It's groups that feel that way, but it's not. It's us trying to figure out. Democracy works best when everyone is a tad bit different or works a little differently, right? So that's when it works its best. So the great thing is we do have people that think differently. We're all different in some ways. We're all part of the human party, right?
Yeah.
The world has gotten too much about Republican and Democrat, and it's not that way. We're all part of the human party. At the end of the day, those labels are only just labels. They don't really mean anything. I don't live my life by one or the other. I see common ground between both, and I represent both. So when
it's crazy to me when everybody is so far this way or so far that way, and it's like, why? What's the government really done for you every day in your life? Like, so why let that divide you?
It's extremism on both sides. You have extremism on both sides now that has literally taken over the parties. And those voices are so loud because 70% of Americans agree on some of the hottest or the most hot button topics. So we can agree. When you can get 70% of people to agree about some of these issues and some of the biggest issues that really they're dividing us, it's not the case. The case is it's extremism. And I've seen that on both parties. I see that we have to realize that at the end of the day, our school board needs to be balanced.
Unified.
And it needs to just be about the children again.
Yes.
I don't think this last year has shown that. I mean, if we had to judge our town on this last school board year, I mean, that's a failing grade. That's an F. On this lowest form. I mean, it's an F plus an incomplete, right? So it was non-existent. It was like a bad, it almost felt like a Jerry Springer show. It was just awful about what we were seeing.
And though, it's not just one person, so I don't want anybody to take that. It's, you have so many people up there, so everyone's to blame.
Everybody's
to blame. And, it's gotten so far that, like, this whole year, my main question, what have we done for the students?
Yeah.
If you can't answer that, then you're not doing your job. That's it.
I totally agree. Brandi, thank you so much for your time today. If there's anything else, we'll speak soon.
Bye. Thank you.